Chelsea fans are keenly waiting to see how the season will end under Enzo Maresca. I mean, they're in the finals of the European Conference League, if I'm not mistaken. Their bragging rights now
Kindergarten Cup.
But they brag about it that they will be the first club to win all major European competitions, the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League as well. So, but what will be success for Chelsea? You know, they are in that top four race. I mean, now it's top five in England. If you qualify in the top five, you go to play in the Champions League next season. So for Chelsea and Enzo Maresca, they lost to Newcastle over the weekend, dropping a little down further the table. But what will define success for Enzo Maresca and Chelsea this season come the end of May?
If Enzo Maresca manages to midwife the next two games now.
Yeah, 2 more games to go.
And they end in 5th position. Whether they win the Conference League or not, we're taking Betis for granted now. But whether they win it or not, if they qualify for the Champions League with the kind of season that they've had, the amount of injuries they've also suffered, the young players, this team was not set up to qualify for Europe or even win the title. So if they can go on to secure 5th position, 4th position is out of their hand now, secure 5th position, and then luckily add the conference trophy to it, I think it's a success. Because you always have to judge a team. What we do in football, and that's what they're doing with Arteta. I asked an Arsenal fan a couple of days ago that at the start of the season, somebody predicted and tell you that Arsenal will definitely make the semi-finals of the Champions League. They will end the season in 1st or 2nd. Will you agree? He said no. I said, so why do we not get there now? Now you know all of a sudden think that it's a better try to go in the Champions League. So it's the same thing with Chelsea. When Enzo Maresca came in, Chelsea fans are there. Those of you that will be angry, those of you that will be pissed, those of you that will get emotional. The question is, if they are told you that Enzo Maresca will qualify you for the Champions League and also win a trophy, the European Conference League, which is a competition that they qualified for, that they were in before Maresca came in. It's not like, they dropped from one competition to another. Those are the competitions that were open. The other ones that were open that they couldn't win is the League title, the FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup. Who would take a Carabao Cup over Conference League right now? So it's the Conference League is the Carabao Cup version of the UEFA category. I think that if he gets the Champions League qualification, it's a success. Then they now need to reinforce the team, rebuild the team. We all know that it was set up to fail. The kind of contract that they give to the players, the type of players that they signed for him, they were not good. This is a club that had a poultry. This is a club that have a nursery, a fish farm, and you expect them. I mean, the setup from the beginning was not that good, and he didn't have much control over it. And some of the players didn't rub themselves in glory. Mikhailo Modric couldn't play football. They kidnapped him or hijacked him from Arsenal, and all he do was do drug. He's more popular for drug than any other thing. And Nkunku's name is more powerful than his.
That one was more surprising, though. I thought he was going to excel at Chelsea.
And then, I mean, people talk about Palmer and Jackson. At least they gave something. They offered something compared to the other guys that didn't show up at all. So you wouldn't really blame them. Again, let me tell you something about football. A team without injury can be very consistent. Nottingham Forest is an example. No injury to players who hitherto are always dealing with injuries. And you saw at some point they were competing for 2nd position in the league table. See where they are. They've ended the season with, or they're going to end the season with. So sometimes when you look at this, the refusal to acknowledge the inconsistencies that is burden on the team because of injury is also something that I do not understand. So Chelsea fans should look at all of that and say, all things being equal, if our players, and I know people say, injury is part of football. That injury was not part of football for Liverpool. That injury have not been part of football for a team like Inter Milan and Paris Saint-Germain as well. So sometimes injuries can derail a very good season. The first player that made Man City go from, indestructible to what they became was Rodri. Rodri was the first one to go injured. Then Kevin De Bruyne, and then the team felt like a pack of cards. Before we used to say, Pep Guardiola have 3 players in every position. Anybody he plays, his tactics work and all that. 2 players go injured, and then all those tactics. People say that every season, Haaland will score 50 goals. Kevin De Bruyne got injured. We now realize that his supply line is as important as the goals that he scores. So sometimes we put all that in the bracket, and you look at the Chelsea team. Enzo Maresca was never my pick. I didn't want him to go to Chelsea. But now that he's here, let's judge him based on the work that he's done. There are some games where he could have tactically arranged his team better. There are some games where they could have done better. But overall, analyzing this season, if he makes 5th position against all odds and then again win the Conference League, I think he's done well.
You are listening to Elegbete TV Radio.